Good evening.
Good evening.
On behalf of the Flatbush Shomrim Safety Patrol, I'd like to welcome all of you to our annual Chanukah party. Before moving on with the program, which I promise you is going to be short, I would like to thank my friend, a good friend of the Flatbush Shomrim, a good friend of the 7-0, and a good friend of NYPD, Dovey Zeitlin. Where are you, Dovey? For providing this beautiful venue and spread. 28 years ago, when Chaim Deutsch founded the Flatbush Shomrim, I believe it's safe to say that he never envisioned that it would evolve into this powerhouse, multifaceted, and well-respected organization that it is today. Our emergency hotline, which is manned 24/7 by our outstanding and professional dispatchers, field approximately 4,000 calls a year. We have 55 dedicated and well-trained volunteers who, in addition to responding to these calls, also patrol both day and night in their private vehicles, ensuring the safety of the entire community. Flatbush Shomrim is directly responsible for countless arrests in the confines of the 6-1, 6-3, 7-0, and 6-6 precincts. We also have a highly trained and motivated domestic team that responds to and mediates many sensitive cases in the community which otherwise would jam up the 911 system. Our state-of-the-art mobile command center, which when placed strategically acts as a deterrent for crime, also is deployed for special category missings. We thank God have a high rate of success in finding these individuals. They say that behind every great man is an even greater woman. It's no different for an organization. Our members are terrific, but if we didn't have the cooperation and the occasional push, and more than that, their blessing, we would cease to function. I would like to recognize and thank the backbone of the Flatbush Shomrim Safety Patrol, our wives and our families. Being a member of Flatbush Shomrim means little sleep, lost family time, lost business revenue, and invariably, to some extent, putting yourself in harm's way. Our volunteers go to grand juries, community council meetings, build the block meetings, Torah processions, and roll calls. All this lends to one word: commitment. I'm incredibly proud to represent and be part of such an outstanding group of guys. Gentlemen, please take a bow. Go, Flatbush Shomrim, stand up, take a bow. This is your night. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge and recognize my fellow coordinators for the countless hours they devote ensuring the smooth day-to-day running of the Flatbush Shomrim. Abe Weinreich, Stephen Wine, and Nathan Rosenberg. Also a huge thank you to our supervisors who are responsible for the success of our night patrol, Ari Yanker and Tony Chicago. Thank you as well to two other important members of the Flatbush Shomrim, our search and rescue coordinator, Akiva Klein, and our equipment manager, Wendy Green. As we all share a common name, Shomrim, I would like to recognize and thank our sister organizations that, I don't know if they're here yet, I'm sure they'll be coming a little bit later, honoring us with their presence. Borough Park Shomrim, Williamsburg Shomrim, Crown Heights Shomrim, and Far Rockaway Shomrim. Despite being independent organizations with different protocols, we all share and take pride in the deep commitment that we have to our communities, and as such are proud to share the common hashtag of United Shomrim. An organization as Shomrim can only succeed if we have the cooperation of the commanding officers of the precincts that we work with. That being the case, we would like to thank Deputy Inspector David Wall, 7OCO. Even though he's not here, I have to thank Deputy Inspector Tito Romero. I think I can still say that he's the CEO of the 6-3, although he's moving on to the 7-1, and we wish him much luck. Our boss is going to be the 7-1's game. Deputy Inspector James King, who couldn't be here tonight, as the 6-6 is having their Christmas party tonight. Also a terrific guy that we have a wonderful relationship with. And Captain Gabby Saliba of the 6-1, who's been just an incredible friend of Flatbush Shomrim. Thank you. Your faith, your trust, and most importantly, your friendship have contributed to historic low crime rates that have benefited our community. Thank you. Finally, before we move on to the next part of the program, which will be equally short, I'd like to offer some thoughts on the festival of Chanukah and how it may relate to us nowadays. Chanukah represents the triumph of good over evil, few over the many, and light over darkness. In our city, with the impending bail reform upon us, we are entering uncharted waters. Also, the recent tragic events in Jersey City weigh heavily on our hearts and sadly reflect a disturbing, hateful trend that is permeating our society. We hope and pray that the good, the few, and the enlightened ones, represented by the NYPD and organizations such as Shomrim, will continue to prevail over the evil, the many, and darkness in the ongoing battle to keep our citizens safe. God bless the NYPD and their families. Thank you. Councilman's here. 6 years ago, when Chaim Deutsch won the election for the office of City Council of the 48th District, I spoke at a victory celebration party, and this is some of what I said, and I quote, "One of the greatest beneficiaries of Chaim's victory is the NYPD. In a climate where attacking police and their protocols has become commonplace, there will now be a strong advocate and powerful voice that will defend our finest and give them the latitude to do what they do best, keeping us safe. It is still with great pride and satisfaction that I give you my good friend, our good friend, Councilman Chaim Deutsch."
Thank you, Bob. You know, we live in a time where public safety is critical. And like Bob mentioned, it's important to show our support, and continue showing us our support to the New York's finest. And I'm proud that this afternoon, I was sitting with the PBA preparing to testify for arbitration, where I'm going to be testifying in front of 3 individuals who will decide how much and if New York City police officers will receive a fair market pay. And this is critical because one of the things I mentioned is that when you look around the city and you see all the democratic socialists, it's the people in this room that support the NYPD every second of the day. In New York City, we have seen the influx of hate crimes. We have seen people getting beaten in the streets, assaulted in the streets. We have seen words of hate and messages scrolled across our city. And just last week, we have seen reality, what happened in Jersey City, where 4 individuals were killed. 2 only because they were Jewish. 1 only because he worked in a Jewish-owned store, and a 4th, an officer of the Jersey City Police. This is something that we need to face now each and every day. We have seen what happened in Poway. We have seen what happened in Sri Lanka. We have seen what happened in Pittsburgh. And we spoke about it, and we put it on social media. We want for those who we lost, and for those who we lost across our country. But when something happens just miles away from New York City, this is when it hits us here at home. And that is why it's important to have the people in this room, the members of the Flatbush Shomrim, working together with New York's finest. Because New Yorkers rely on you to protect them in this day and age, each and every day. So please give yourselves a round of applause. Finally, I just want to say, it's great to be home. It's great to be back at an organization that I have founded in 1991 at a young age of 21. And as you know, that the organization was given over with confidence to Bob Moskowitz. In order to recognize the members of the Flatbush Shomrim, I have brought here New York City Council citations. And although you know in New York City, the members who represent the City Council, you don't always hear them talk about how great the cops are. You hear many times they say, we don't want to see cops. We don't need cops in our districts. But you know something, at the end of the day, when a letter went out to support the New York City's finest for fair market pay, we had a super majority of council members signed on to that. And this is why it's important that we recognize the NYPD, who is not only here in the room, but the 38,000 strong throughout our city. So at this time, I'd like to give out New York City Council citations on behalf of the New York City Council, and just give you a message that I support you, I have your back, and let's go out there working together to make sure that, like Bob mentioned, when bail reform kicks in January, things will definitely be moving backwards. I received a call just moments ago from an individual who said that there was someone who resided in his building who was locked up and was in jail for 2 years, only released a few weeks ago, and that individual now came back to the building where he lived and is terrorizing the tenants. And this is the beginning of bail reform, where people will be released from jails and be back out on the street. And another thing you need to remember when you look at bail reform, there's another part of it. There's a paragraph that talks about the discovery. The discovery part, the fact is, when the members of the Shomrim, or the members of the NYPD lock someone up, only 2 or 3% of the people that get arrested go to trial. When that individual goes to trial, then the defendant has a right to receive information of the witness, which is the complainant, but that is right before trial. With bail reform, you're going to have 100% of the people who are arrested who will then in return give the witnesses, which means the complainant's information, to the defendant. And that is really, really bad. So your jobs are going to be getting a lot tougher, trust me. It's going to be getting a lot tougher, so stay safe out there, watch each other's backs, because it's the people in this room that have each other's backs, no one else. Thank you so much.